Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Power Ranger review. This one's for Season 1, Volume 2 of the DVD box set, where I'm doing all of the Power Ranger sets here within the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Complete DVD box set. So I figured this time I'd write a couple of notes down to keep track with where I was at. So here we go. So as far as the episode highlights and some things I liked and disliked about this, pretty much it's just standard Power Ranger stuff. I mean, a lot of the episodes are just, like I said, typical Power Ranger stuff. There's nothing really notable about a lot of them, but there were some things I did note about this particular set that I'm going to go ahead and talk about. So first off, the Green Candle, Part 1 and 2. That's an episode where Tommy loses his powers, and by the end he leaves the show. And he leaves the show temporarily, which I'll get to here in a second, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was surprised they actually did that, but they did, so that's kind of interesting that they did that. And then later on the disc, I was on the episode two-parter Doomsday Part 1. I don't know what it was with them porting that over to the disc, but it kind of had some poor quality. Like, it just seemed different than the others. It seemed like they ripped it from like an old DVD, or maybe it was an old VHS tape. But it still had that little like a cartoon text bubble thing that they use. Sometimes they come up in the corner and they play during like cartoons that are televised on TV. They had something like that, so I don't know what it was, if that was like some home video release that they put on, but you could tell it was pretty grainy. So I'm not sure where they actually got that from, but noticeably that one was like that, but Part 2 was not, so I thought that was kind of different. Then you had Disc 2, which is, well, basically Disc 5 of Season 1, and they started doing different music. They had different songs that they were singing. And of course they got the classic Go Green Ranger song, which was nice. But yeah, they started doing that around this disc, so I thought that was kind of neat that they finally put new songs in, and it was nice to listen to them. I remember them from the show from back in the day, but I just kind of forgot about them. They also did a repeat enemy. They did the pig enemy again, which I thought was a little lazy, but maybe, when you've made so many of these episodes, maybe there's just not much you could think of. Maybe they were running short on ideas, or who knows what the reasoning was. But they used that pig enemy again. And then by the end of Disc 2, Tommy comes back. So, around the beginning, of the first disc, he leaves, like the third or fourth episode in. But then after that, he comes back at the end of this second disc. Now that's all the notes I wrote for that, but I do want to go ahead and mention a couple other things on the last part. They had a special Halloween episode, which I enjoyed. I thought it was a pretty fun episode. Second Chance was also on this. That was the episode where apparently there was some guy who was an extra in there, and apparently in real life he murdered somebody. Murdered 2 people on a yacht or something. And of course it exploded in the media headlines that he was some Power Ranger star when really he was just an extra. Now I tried finding out some information and trying to find this guy on the tape, but I couldn't even find him. So I thought it was really kind of crappy, and a lot of people I think that kid's name was Skyler. They mistake him, or excuse me, no, that's the guy who I think murdered those people. I don't remember the kid's name on here, but people were mistaking him for being that murderer. Now, from what I've read online, that kid's not the murderer. So it's just some extra that they had. And again, if you just Google search Power Ranger murderer or something like that, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's very weird, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to feel weird watching this episode. But quite frankly, you can't find the extra. I mean, he's probably one of those kids on that soccer team, and like I said, honestly, I couldn't find him. So I don't... That guy may have just made that up for all we know. I don't know. But I just wanted to note that. And there was one episode where Tommy and Jason kind of go against each other, which I thought was a pretty good episode. I always like the episodes that feature Tommy and Jason. They just always seem like they have the best chemistry and really good episodes. Let's see here. And of course, Tommy joining the football team. I thought that was kind of a different episode. I don't know if I'd really consider it a good one. I was just kind of like, you know, the guy doesn't think he has any confidence in himself doing football, yet he gets to be like one of the most important positions, QB. You know, I thought that was kind of strange. But it's an okay episode, I guess. Then you had the Mighty Morphin Mutants, which is where the Power Rangers had copies of themselves, and the other copies had black gloves, which I thought was kind of interesting. There's also a parody of that on YouTube. If you guys have ever typed in Power Ranger parody, there's people who've dubbed it over, and that's that episode, in case you're wondering. And, of course, the last one for this volume was Oyster Zone, or what is that? Does that say Oyster Slew? Oh, Oyster Stew. And Oyster Stew, which was the last episode and on this disc. And I really liked that episode, at least for the Armored Black Ranger part, because I just think Zach looks really good with that armor on. You know, I think out of all the Rangers, he looks the best with the armor. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I like the way Jason looks, and Tommy looks good in the armor too, but I think Zach looks the coolest. And I thought it was kind of unfortunate. They only used him for like a quick 5-second fight scene with it on, and then he's really never uses it again throughout the episode. I thought that was a little disappointing. But overall, it was a pretty entertaining episode, pretty entertaining section of the show. And I think that's it. So next up will be Season 2, Volume 1. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.